Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here with a preview of the 2014 United States Grand Prix and a really good track to get into the final 3 rounds of the season in, and we're going to be doing a 3-lap race with Lewis Hamilton to show you in the background. We're going to look at previous results around this track and also the season so far to try and determine the result about what's going to happen in this race. But before we get into it guys, remember to leave your comments down below about who you think will get pole position for the United States Grand Prix this year and also who you think will win this race this year. Remember to leave that down in the comment section. Always interesting to read what you guys say. So yeah, be sure to leave that comment down below in the comment section. First thing I'm going to talk about is qualifying. Now I'm not too sure who has more pole positions this year out of Hamilton and Rosberg, but I think generally Hamilton has been better in qualifying. When he hasn't had terrible luck in qualifying, he's normally in first or second on the grid, and generally he beats Rosberg when there's a straight out fight. But I've got to say Rosberg has been very good this year, but overall I honestly think that Hamilton has just been a little bit better in qualifying this year, and I think it's going to be pretty hard for Hamilton not to get pole here. He's been so fast over the last couple of years that we've been going here. Obviously he got the win back in 2012 and had a good result last year in 2013. Last year's podium was a bit of an interesting one because obviously we had Grosjean on the podium who had a stellar race to bring it home second, only about 6 seconds behind Sebastian Vettel. And if we look at where the two Mercedes drivers were in comparison to the leader last year, Hamilton finished 4th, 27 seconds behind Sebastian Vettel at the end of the race. And Nico Rosberg ended up 59 seconds behind Sebastian Vettel at the end of the race. So over 30 seconds between Hamilton and Rosberg in that race. And I think they're on pretty similar strategies as well. So looking at that, you've got to say Hamilton has the pace advantage here. And if we look at the qualifying from last year as well, Hamilton started 5th place on the grid last year, whilst a really actually bad result in my opinion for Nico Rosberg, who ended up 14th. On the grid, but I think moved up 2 positions after other people had penalties. So I think you can sort of see by the stats and obviously Hamilton winning in 2012 that it doesn't look like a race that Nico Rosberg should win. In all honesty, it looks like a race where Hamilton will go out, probably get pole position, probably win it unless something crazy happens. But I'm not gonna lie guys, Nico Rosberg has been incredibly fast this year. He's had a huge amount of pole positions, he's been very fast in the races, maybe not as fast as Hamilton, but he's also been very consistent. You know, when he can't win the race he'll end up second, and when he has a bad result and finishes 4th or whatever, Hamilton sometimes doesn't even finish. So Hamilton hasn't been as consistent, whether that's due to reliability errors or maybe the contact, for example, in Spa. Hamilton hasn't been as consistent, but he has been faster. So it's sort of weighing up the two this year about who's going to end up on top. But in my opinion, Rosberg has to win this race to try and keep his title hopes alive, because yeah, you can say, well, it's probably mathematically possible for him to win it down to Abu Dhabi, but with the momentum so far in Hamilton's favour at the moment, he's had 4 wins out of the last 4 races, that definitely the momentum is with Hamilton. And in sport, momentum is a big thing. If you're doing well and if you're constantly doing good, you normally keep doing good, and that's what Hamilton's been like over the last couple of events. Even when he's been behind Rosberg, he's managed to fight back through the field and be ahead of Rosberg at the end of the race. For example, Italy and Suzuka are 2 examples where Rosberg did get into the lead, but Hamilton went and passed him. So yeah, I think it's going to have to be a race for Rosberg to win. He needs to really do something and maybe get into Hamilton's head a little bit, because we've realised when Hamilton sometimes when Hamilton has been beaten by Rosberg, and maybe it's by a significant amount, or maybe Hamilton made a silly mistake, it really gets in Hamilton's head, and sometimes those, the things in Hamilton's head, sometimes it leads to him making more mistakes. So for Rosberg's sake, he needs to sort of get in Hamilton's head and maybe make him make a mistake or something. But I'm not too sure how that's going to work out for Rosberg, because I think really the last 4 races have shown how strong Hamilton is, and it's going to be pretty tough to break him. So anyway, I've sort of rambled on a little bit, not about the Grand Prix there, but I think honestly it's going to be a Hamilton win probably from Rosberg in second. But we'll catch up with some more news event from this Grand Prix. Obviously Marussia and Caterham both not racing this weekend. I think both of them have gone into administration, so by the looks of it neither of them will be racing for the rest of the season, and maybe never in F1 again, depending on whether they can find a buyer or an investor or something to keep their hopes alive. But unfortunately that's Formula 1 nowadays, isn't it? It's just so expensive. The small teams just can't keep up with the costs that keep coming into Formula 1, and unfortunately we see F1 teams go. So Caterham and Marussia, it's unlikely they'll race for the rest of the season in my opinion. They won't definitely be racing in America or United States. So that's unfortunate. We will have an 18 car grid, I think, for the first time in a long time. Obviously 6 cars started the 2005 United States Grand Prix, but I think the last time that only 18 cars was entered was ages ago. So it's definitely showing F1 needs to think about the budgets and everything. Small teams just can't survive with that. So in terms of the rest of the grid, I think this would be a good track for some of the Mercedes powered engine cars. It's got some big straights here, and most notably the one we're coming up to in a second here, a very long straight where I think the Renault will definitely struggle. So, you know, I've been wrong in the past, but I think that Red Bull might not be too great here. They've been great in the past, obviously. Vettel winning last year and doing a very good job in 2012, but I honestly think this is going to be a not so good track for the Red Bulls, and maybe a track where Williams can get on the podium once again. Obviously Bottas last year had a great result to get his points in 8th place last year. His only points of the season came at this track last year, so I think he's got a good chance of maybe getting some points, top end of the points, maybe even on the podium. I'm not too sure, but I think Williams will probably be ahead of Red Bull. And in terms of where you think Ferrari will be, it's always a hard one to tell, because Ferrari can spring a result out of nowhere sometimes, but sometimes they're just in the middle of nowhere. So if I had to predict a top 5 for the race, I'll go with Hamilton with the winner of the race, then Rosberg in 2nd place. I'll go with Bottas in 3rd, then I'll probably go with Ricciardo in 4th, and then 5th place probably Massa, because obviously we've got Vettel as well, who has been good around here in the past, but from what I've been hearing, it sounds like he's either going to be starting from the last place on the grid or from the pit lane, because they're not too sure whether he's going to start qualifying. I'm not too sure whether there's been any news or anything since I've started recording this video, but it looks like he's going to be starting from the pit lane. So yeah, be sure to leave your comments down below, guys. Always appreciate to see what you guys think. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you're new to my channel as well, remember to hit that subscribe button and like the video as well. But it's been Alex, I'm out here. Goodbye.